So, on the Sun front page today, the Home Office has earmarked more than 400 beds to house migrants at the Britannia International Hotel in Canary Wharf. I'll show you this front page. There we are. And they've taken a line on it because they say asylum farce goes on. Posh hotel taken over for migrants. Fury at cop escort for lefty mob. More food app illegals caught. It's a 4-star fiasco. Protesters demonstrated outside the building on Tuesday. This is in Canary Wharf, London, after false rumours spread that migrants from another hotel, the Bell Hotel in Essex, were going to be moved there. There have been recent protests outside the Bell Hotel too, with some people arrested and charged. The demonstrations here in Essex followed an asylum seeker living in the hotel being charged after allegedly attempting to kiss a 14-year-old girl this month. Assault, I think they call that. Nigel Farage shared this video on social media, and he says it shows essentially Essex Police transporting left-wing protesters to the Bell Hotel. So that's, in other words, counter-protesters. And Mr Farage called for the Chief Constable to resign. Essex Police denies they drove anybody to the protest, but they say some people who were clearly at risk of being hurt were escorted by vehicle away from the area for their safety. There's also footage of officers escorting pro-migrant protesters to the hotel on foot. So this is another cause of contention here. And the force has confirmed officers did provide a foot cordon around protesters on their way to the demonstration. So the accusation against the police there, Samuel, is that basically in order to quell the protests, they then help the left-wingers get there as well.
Yeah, I think that police forces are operationally independent, and that's for a really good reason, because they have to make decisions that sometimes might not look great when a journalist or somebody else picks it up with a phone. Clearly, if you have two different sides going to demonstrate around a subject that's quite contentious, it's very likely that there'll be some people who might take things too far, and so the police forces have to do their job. But this is a much more broader issue here, which is the fact that police forces are going to probably face a summer where there's going to be a lot of discontent, a lot of protests. Their resources are already quite stretched, and they're going to have to try and find a way to manage these situations. And very often there will be allegations that they have not, done things in the way that is correct.
Well, I suppose the last summer of rioting was over the Southport killings and Axel Rudikabana and all of that, and there was some false information in the mix. This is which starts with a genuine anger against a person who's alleged to have assaulted a child, which is pretty serious.
Of course it is.
And we have to hope, I suppose, we don't have flashpoint incidents like that.
Yeah, and we can all agree that that is disgusting and wrong and that we don't want that and we want that person dealt with. But the trouble is, there is also an angle where it gets weaponised for other agendas. And the misinformation thing is really, really worrying. So if you're spreading stuff around on Facebook, as was done by Tommy Robinson, I believe, started it, saying, they're all in this hotel, get down there. And then it's completely false. And then also within that, actually, how does that help? And there's also a difference between protest and rioting. And if you're rioting and you're throwing things at the police and you're punching people or you're damaging things or you're throwing stuff with fire in them or you are threatening people that are nothing to do with it, then that isn't protest, that is rioting. And then, so yeah, it's a hot mess. And I don't know where they start, but I guess they have to start with the... and also, when you've got groups like the EDL, you've got groups like the splinter group from the Patriotic Alliance, they're the far right.
Do you think they're there?
Yes!
That's the key thing, because Mr Farage said, look, this is actually, a lot of this is honest local families who are picnicking and having a protest at the same time.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as them being honest local families, but certainly people who maybe are genuinely upset about the situation,
will be some of that, of course,
and who have decided to come and make their feelings heard, who are not extremists. But the challenge for the police is there will always be extreme groups, both on the left and the right, who decide to attend protests.
And it's,
so
you know what,
it's
even this
difficult.
hotel thing, so you see that information is so contested. If you look at the papers today, it suggests that they're going into a 4-star hotel in Canary Wharf. If you look, a lot of people are now talking about this hotel, the Britannia Hotel. Actually, it looks, to me, that does look swanky. I've got to say, it may well be 4-star. And it all hinges on whether it's got a vending machine and reception, I think.
Going into Canary Wharf, like housing asylum seekers or whoever they are in Canary Wharf is not reading the room. Like somebody with common sense would say, do not take them to
because Canary Wharf itself is posh, you mean?
Everything that it signifies just does not allow for good optics.
Because I saw people saying that hotel is a shambles. Their rating on Google is 2.6. And although there have been some good reviews, the cheapest room is £30 a night.
Yeah, which is fine.
And I'm now thinking, I don't know what to believe now.
And also, Canary Wharf is largely empty a lot of the time, right, in the evenings and the weekends. And I agree, you don't want like lap of luxury, the optics are terrible, but what people don't want is the immigrant hotels in their local towns.
Well, maybe Canary Wharf.
And also, at the moment, there's nobody in that Britannia Hotel, is there? There isn't actually a migrant in the Britannia Hotel at the moment, and yet it's front page with all those
They were
pictures.
preparing for them to come. Like, the thing about Canary Wharf is, you know, it's in Tower Hamlets, lots of deprivation and also wealth in the same place. Totally get that. For a long time, it was the poorest borough in London. But we know that there are people that are going to weaponise lots of images over the course of this summer. Don't take people to Canary Wharf. It may well be a shoddy hotel, but it's a very poor political thing to do. If the Home Secretary was aware, if her special advisors or her team were aware, then that's a failure on their part.